had 7 birdies and an eagle yesterday. This for her first birdie today. Probably feels like she's well over par compared to yesterday's round.
We did see a discrepancy, Morgan. Morning to afternoon yesterday, she went out in the morning, shot 63. Players getting used to this golf course. First time it's ever hosted the LPGA or any event of this magnitude. 15, Hyo Joo Kim.
Going with the driver, that from a very elevated tee shot. Some of the longer players will just use 3-wood off this tee. 138, 140, short of the pin. Got to allow for some hit and release. That actually landed pretty softly.
Didn't quite crest that hill like she was looking for, Kay.
Challenging putt, pretty steep for the first 2/3, then a little downhill.
Hold out for eagle yesterday to finish out that round of 63. She'll be the defending champion next week at the Ford Championship in Phoenix. Came roaring from behind to catch.
Especially as the greens firm up, that wind will be a factor. Did she try and play it that way?
Not certain.
That landed, and she did yesterday, but nothing like the 63 we saw from Hyo Joo yesterday.
Kay is watching Hyo Joo Kim, and look where she's aiming here, Kay.
A nearly impossible putt. I mean, a good 5 feet of break right to left and so fast.
In her home country of Korea, just like Hyo Joo Kim has got this for par. Major champion and one of the best putters in short games you will ever see.
She wants to carry or land directly into to bounce up.
Playing this plenty safe to the right. Wow. And I tell you what, with this warm air, Morgan, the balls are just flying. And then, of course, they're hitting and releasing.
When you trust your game, it's so much easier to be patient, right?
Interesting.
So sometimes it's easy to just get away from the impatience.
That would explain my impatience. Okay, the second for Hyo Joo at 17.
I mean, I know we talked.
Chance to save par. Hyo Joo Kim, who's won over today after the 63 Thursday, has this to save par. And now Gabby Lopez, our guest, is tied for the lead.
Well, it's straight as a string. It depends on how it bounces.
Okay, on the green in 2. Not a place that Hyo Joo Kim is used to. And she's watching as Hyo Joo Kim has this for eagle.
Yeah, a good look at eagle uphill. And she handled that really nicely. Just going to leave herself a tap-in guaranteed birdie.
To the first in Hyo Joo Kim.
Another elevated tee shot hitting down to the fairway, straightaway par 4.
Such a beautiful hole, Kay.
It is. It's just with the trees in the background, the beautiful bunker work. They've done a beautiful job with this reno. Just 97 yards left. That was a 320-yard drive for Hyo Joo. Just a little sand wedge there. Maybe starting to make a little move on this golf course. Certainly a really good opportunity for 2 birdies in a row. Not much to this putt.
Okay. That's more like the Hyo Joo Kim we've seen for the better part of a dozen years out on the LPGA Tour. With another good day. Here's the leader, Hyo Joo Kim, and Kate Cockrell's following along.
And another beautiful long straight drive out of Hyo Joo. Had to deal with this fairway that tilts quite a bit from right to left.
It runs through, but
how about this second at the second for Hyo Joo?
Lie not bad at all. Kind of matted down, dried out grass, but understandably went a little long because coming up short would be a very difficult. She has a little mound to negotiate that's going to throw the ball quite a bit from left to right.
It's kind of a sneaky hole, Kay, this second. It's playing as the hardest hole on the course. And I would say when I was scouting the course, I wouldn't have thought that. It looks relatively benign, but there have been some big numbers here and been tough to score.
Comebacker for par for Hyo Joo Kim.
All in all, a good two-putt there.
And again, as you said, par, good score at the second.
I agree with Morgan that almost every hole has its own beautiful look to it and feel. This is another straightaway par 4. This one has a little bit of tilt from left to right, but a more generous fairway than the second. That second hole for the members, by the way, plays the hardest hole, one of the hardest holes out here.
At the third, Hyo Joo Kim, second shot.
Inside 100 yards, Grant. Awkward angle, though. That hole tucked just over the pin. Over the bunker.
Less than her best. Hyo Joo, her third at 3.
Challenging putt uphill with some break.
Okay, up to the challenge as usual.
I did not expect that. He said her demeanor, she is so even-keeled and doesn't get too up or too down.
Never does. You can look at her and never really tell how she's playing, whether she's...
Future is bright, and here's one of the players these youngsters are trying to emulate, Hyo Joo Kim. She had a really nice year on the KLPGA as a 19-year-old. Went to Evian because of her world ranking, shot 61 in that opening round. Back at the par 5 fifth, the third shot here, Kay?
It is coming off a downhill lie from 138 yards. Her drive ended up in a nasty lie in the rough. She had to just sand wedge, hack it out. So this is certainly going to be a little more of a scrambling hole for her.
This just a moment ago, the leader Hyo Joo Kim. She's had some long putts. And she's handled them all. Or hedging, rather.
The Centre Cut Morgan was a place I rarely saw, so I don't really know what you're talking about with the Centre Cut, but I would definitely approve.
Her motion is just so simple, Kay. Always keeps the club right in front of her, trying to get this to come back.
Yeah, she would have expected a little more zip back, but 3 birdie putts out of this group. Hyo Joo putting with a new putter she put in the bag at the beginning of this week. It's worked pretty nicely for her so far. This very fast. This green tilts so much from back to front. All these courses are very hilly and they have a lot of tilt just because of the nature of the landscape.
Should I move?
And on the tee at the 7th, bending around to the right, Kay, Hyo Joo.
Yeah, hitting it again from an elevated tee, and this just another beauty, a high, soft fade. Never get tired of watching that move.
Step aside, maybe another year or two. Hyo Joo Kim, third at 7.
Sand wedge from just 79 yards. Yeah, get that to spin back. She was hoping to get a little closer, but
She usually tends to trip the ball in the hole. That puts so much pressure on the rest of your game when you're not putting well.
Hyo Joo, yeah. Great tee shot, great putt, and first player to get it to double digits under par.
cannot see the actual landing area of this fairway. It's very uphill. Probably plays 20 yards uphill from tee to green at least.
And that'll take that same corridor up the left side, be just fine. I would also say that typically, Kay, but we've seen some really big bounces on this 9th hole. People end up well over the green.
That was a really nice swing.
There's a really big bounce.
Yeah, she can't tell how far by that went. I mean, she executed that beautifully.
I was thinking last night that they'd be pretty darn proud of where the tour is 76 years later.
Hyo Joo for a closing birdie.
Oh, that's got plenty of speed. And I'm sure Hyo Joo and the many Koreans that have come over can nod to Se-ri Pak, of course, who really broke through and won big time and opened the floodgates. And that's what you fight for and want. This for par.
The only thing worse than playing on the cut line is playing for your card. But on the top of the leaderboard is Hyo Joo Kim.